English bloods, that Roman bloods.
Exactly.
Well, there's none of that. Yeah? If I was English, I'd be a snowflake, and I wouldn't say a word. I wouldn't say a word. I most probably wouldn't even come up on the panel.
Yeah, just don't say that P word again.
But it's just that bloody Welsh in me. I can't stop, see?
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that from a sheep.
That P word belongs to you.
Well, you're going to have to hear it because you were the one who eats the sheep when I shag the sheep. So you're going to have to hear it.
Just keep
slamming the lamb. Slamming the lamb.
Pick it up your hole.
Oh.
So when you eat that sheep.
No, when I shag the sheep, you eat it.
But you eat it as well, no?
No, I don't know.
I mean, you probably eat it twice, before and after.
No. I only take the privilege of busting it, yeah, before you eat it.
Yeah, you eat that sheep twice. It's times like this, I'm so glad that I'm vegetarian.
Times like this, I'm so glad.
Oh, times like this, you were so fucking thankful you can call yourself a vegetarian.
Oh, times like this, I'm glad I don't have
a barbecue.
Prince called Charles.
Times like this, I am proud to be Irish.
Well, no, you've got a Welshman called Patrick.
No, we don't. That's the thing.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, you silly man.
How have we got him? You just said he's a Welshman.
Yes, you do, you silly man.
So you've got him.
Do you not know your own history, bro?
But you have Charles.
I don't. I don't. He's just a killer lizard.
His wife's meant something.
And all his families are wrong uns, and all his family are wrong uns, and his brothers are wrong uns.
Yeah, but his wife meant so much to you.
His wife looks like an horse, bro.
His ex-wife then is fucking.
All right, yeah. Well, she was a beautiful woman. She was a beautiful woman.
One that's fucking dead.
She was a beautiful woman who was groomed to die.
What?
She was a beautiful woman who was groomed to die.
Hafford, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? This is the Welsh mentality.
Well, this is the same as what's wrong with you. We're the same person, bro.
No.
Yeah.
No. See, I celebrated birthday.
The difference is, I own Noah. The difference is, I own every fucking 6 foot fucking bit of me, right? Whereas you are a little pussy-o.
But I celebrated our death.
What?
You mourned our death. You mourned
My ma is your da.
Sorry?
My ma is your da.
I'm saying your mum's a transvestite, mad.
My ma is your da.
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
I don't know. Some confession business.
That means we're all family, guys. And if you like it or lump it, it's the truth.
No. We're not.
Maybe
with Scotland.
As much as you dislike it and you want to be out of the family, you are connected to me one way or another.
No.
Sorry, bruv. It's just the truth.
Maybe with Scotland, because they live.
You ain't gonna win, you ain't gonna win this argument because you are connected to me one way or another.
No, I'm not.
Mama is your da.
Stop saying that. Sounds weird.
You ain't gonna win, bro. You ain't gonna win, like.
Just remember, you fucking were creaming over Diana, saying she was your princess.
Well, I say what the fuck I like, innit? I say what the fuck I like. It's just my opinion, innit?
Remember, that's a subliminal shit you were saying.
Well, just remember, Mama is your da.
You're a royalist. No. We're not like you. We're not like
I don't live in a fucking castle, bro. I don't eat mealworms and crickets for dinner.
We're not like you.
What are you fucking talking about?
We don't shed.
I don't live a life of privilege. I don't live a life of privilege. Everything I got, I fucking work for.
Even if we don't shed
everything I got, I fucking work for.
Well,
sweat, blood, and fucking tears, just like you. Shut up. Shut up. What makes you different from? What makes you different from me? What makes you different from me apart from your accent? What makes you different from me apart from your accent?
Our DNA.
Oh no, I'll tell you.
We're the same. We're the same DNA.
We don't shed tears for the royal family.
We're the same. I don't shed tears. I couldn't give a fuck. Oh, Diana wasn't royal, bro. She married into royal. She wasn't fucking royal. She married into royal. Get it fucking right.
Are you for real, are you?
Diana wasn't royal. She married into royal. She married into the royal family.
Look into Diana's family. They've always been part of the royal family.
I don't give a fuck about the royal family. They're a bunch of lizards. Bunch of fucking wrong-uns.
No, you're a wrong-un. You don't even know what
you are. You were the fucking wrong-un because you're a part-time Irishman.
How is that? How'd you work that out?
Easy. Just by talking to you. Just by listening to you in this last fucking 45 minutes, me and you have been talking. Just by listening to you and the way you fucking talk and the way you carry yourself. You're a part-time waste man of an Irishman. Yeah? You're a part-time Irishman.
Tell me how. Tell me how.
I just told you.
What? No, you didn't.
I just told you.
No, you didn't say how.
For the way you were talking. For the way you were talking to me,
right.
For the way you were talking right now, right?
About who? St. Patrick. About St. Patrick.
About everything, just in general.
About
just the way you are in general. I've weighed you up, I've sized you up, and I've measured you. And you are a part-time Irishman.
The royal family.
And maybe you are the problem that we got in Britain.
We're not in Britain, you fool, you.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Ireland. He's in the heart of Ireland. What are you talking about? You don't.
But he sounds like he's in Britain.
Why does he sound like he's in Britain?
Because he's not proud to be Irish.
Yeah, just exactly like English people.
He might as well be living in fucking America talking to me right now.
Fuck off back to Wales.
You fucking waste man. You're a waste man.
Mountain goats. Yeah.
You're a waste man.
Yeah. Put a top on there in your profile picture.
Yeah. Go get your fucking green Irish top on, bruv.
What colour is the Welsh top? Same as the English.
You know what colour it is. You know what colour it is, because we beat you we beat you enough.
Same as the English top.
We beat you enough in that colour, so you know what colour it is.
I don't go by international sports. We have our own.
How old are you? How old are you, bro? How old are you?
I'm 38. Well, I'm probably older than you.
But you should know fucking better then. You should know fucking better then.
Then what? Then to cry for fucking English royals?
Who am I crying for?
Diana.
She's not an English royal.
Oh man. You just told me
she married into it. She married, listen to me, bro. She married into it and then got killed. And then got killed.
What is a royal if not a princess?
She was not a royal. She married into the royals and then got killed.
Was she not your
by
princess?
The royals.
Did you not say but she was your princess?
She was the Welsh princess, yeah.
Right. And is that not a royal
are you drunk, bro?
I've had a few, yeah. But is that not a royal fucking what you call it? Like a prince, a king, a princess.
No, she was a princess. Yeah? She was a princess.
I know that, but what are they called? Those titles. They're titles, right?
HRH. HRH.
Yeah. And you love all that shit, yeah?
I don't know. I don't know. I think they're a bunch of fucking lizard wrong-uns.
So, Taffy, hold on. Let me ask him a question.
And her HRH.
Taffy, what did the Welsh do when the Irish were trying to flee from the famine in Ireland? What did you do to help the Irish?
I don't know.
What did you men?
Tell me, tell me.
What did the men? What did these great men? What did these great sheep-shagging fucking men do to help the Irish?
I was most probably shagging sheep and I, yeah?
Tell me what these fantastic men
I was most probably catching sheep and I. You tell me what I was doing. I don't know. I'm only 44 years old.
We're coming
Oh,
over.
don't get
trying to
triggered, guys.
escape
Don't
the
get
famine,
triggered now, right?
trying to escape
I'm only
the poverty.
44 years old, right? So
Yeah,
you tell
so
me what I
don't-
was
so You
doing.
don't fucking know your history exactly.
The
Well,
Welsh
you
blocked
tell me
the
what I was
port
doing
by the
then.
You don't know how you
You
left
tell
women
me
and
what I was
children.
doing then.
The Welsh
Your
blocked
men,
the
your
ports by the
men
Turks.
left women and children to die, to fucking die, and stopped them from being able to come in the country for what?
What
Call
country?
yourself a man.
What
Call
country?
fucking dickheads.
What country?
Wales, the Great Wales.
Well, the Wales is full of Welsh. It's not like fucking Ireland where it's full of fucking fucking patriots, is it?
Ireland.
What's your
Little
problem with Irish?
part-timers. Little part-timers.
What's the
Yeah?
problem with Irish people?
What's the fucking problem with Welsh people?
Listen, you couldn't even.
What's
get
the
it
problem
together.
with Welsh people?
I just told you.
Fucking hell, it's like double standards up here, man. Trouble is, right? You think you were better than me. You think you were better than me. You think you stand taller than me. Well, you don't. You don't. You don't. You do not. You are just a man, just like me.
There's a whole reason.
Nothing more, nothing more, nothing fucking less, brother. Don't be shouting now, innit? Nothing more, nothing less. You're just a man.
You
You're
cannot
just
call
a man,
yourself a man.
and you're a weak-ass,
you're not a
pussy-ass,
man.
part-time man.
You're not a man. Your people.
I'm more of a man than this fucker will ever be. I'm more of a man than you'll ever be.
You left
Shut up
women.
and put that top
Your
on.
men.
I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of my country. I'm proud of my countrymen and women. Are you?
You're proud of the fact that
Are you?
Yeah, I
Shut
am, yeah. I
You're
am,
proud of nothing. You're proud of
the fact that
nothing.
They left
Well,
people
I'm not
to
proud
starve.
of you,
Okay.
fucking faggot.
Fuck off to
That's
America,
good.
you silly cunt.
It's as good as the English. Well done.
Fuck off to America, you silly cunt.
Yeah. Stupid.
Fucking part-timers.
Hot timers.
Gotta love them. Gotta love them. Gotta clap them. Gotta clap them. Maybe that's why we're in such a fucking mess over here, eh?
Mess over where? Mess over
Over
where?
here. Over here.
Over where you are.
Because you think you were so different because you're just over the little bit of water between us and fucking Ireland. You think you were fucking better than me? Fuck's sake. The fuck do you get off thinking like that, guys? Where the fuck do you get off thinking like that? Trying to tell me what I am and what I ain't.
Shut up, you fucking...
Shut the fuck up yourself, you part-timer. You part-time Irish cunt.
Hold on, but this all started because you're saying that we're Celts, and we told you that we're
No,
not
this all
Celts.
started because
And then
I
you
called
wanted to
you
bring
lot
up the whole
fucking
paddy.
paddies.
Yeah, you wanted to bring up the paddy.
Yeah, you got battered about a fucking name.
Weird little fucking rubber.
Battered.
Yeah.
Battered. Bunch of fucking bitches, like. You bunch of bitches, like.
You just need to accept.
Battered about a name, yet you think you're better than me because
accept that you're the paddy.
Yeah.
Accept that you're the paddy. You're the Celt.
I'm not getting offended though by the names you were calling me, guys.
And we're not.
We were calling you.
Yeah, you are. You were getting triggered the fuck.
Who was getting triggered?
Paddy triggers you. Paddy triggers you.
We told you Paddy belongs to you, you fucking weirdo, you.
You're a paddy, bro.
No, I'm not a paddy.
Yes, you are. You sound like a paddy. You fucking act like a paddy. You're a paddy. You sound like a paddy. You act like a paddy. You're a paddy. Fucking own it.
Look, listen. This is why the English rode you all your life, because you own.
English have got fuck all to do with me. What are you talking about? I'm Welsh.
Listen.
I'm Welsh.
Yeah, I know what you are. And this is why the English rode you and fucking...
And this is why you don't like it, because I own who I am.
Shut up.
And I know exactly who I am.
But you don't.
Yes, I fucking do.
Then admit that you're Roman.
The English wouldn't have got... If the English hadn't have got...
Why would they do that?
They wouldn't have got
Why would they do that when it's not the truth, like? It's not the fucking truth.
Okay.
If the
Admit that
English,
you were conquered
I
by the
think I'll
Romans.
I'll admit all right, then I'll admit I'm Roman.
Admit
If
that
you
you were
admit you're a
conquered.
paddy, I'll admit I'm Roman. If you admit you're a paddy,
Admit that you were conquered by the Romans.
I'll admit I'm a Roman. If you admit you're a paddy.
No, because you're the paddy.
Right, anyway,
Paddy was a
fucking
Welshman.
can't say innit?
I'm not a paddy. I don't accept that. I rebuke
everyone
that.
that came in there.
No, you're a taffy. That's what you are. You're Welsh.
Wasn't she your princess?
But you confuse Welsh people because you're living in a different country. You're living in a different country that you don't want to be in. And you have no pride for.
Your country. Great Britain.
My country.
Great Britain.
My people.
Great Britain. Yeah, your people.
My people.
Exactly. Nothing to do with us.
Not everybody in Great Britain are my people. My bread bins. Not everybody. It doesn't sound like you lot are at the moment. With the hostility and the hate I'm feeling at the moment. Mad, isn't it?
Hostility and hate.
Yeah.
Oh, just have
Paddy,
Paddy.
well,
Just take Paddy back. And
It's the way it is, isn't it? The truth is out there, isn't it? Yeah.
You shouldn't be liking people from Buckingham Palace. If you
Difference is though, I'm living in my country and I'm proud to be in my country. I'm proud to be who I am. Are you?
Yeah, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough.
It's not good enough. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me.
It's not good
It's good enough for me. It's good enough for me, and you ain't gonna take that away from me, Paddy. You ain't gonna take it away from me, Paddy.
It's not good enough if you love people from the royal family.
Well, it's not good enough you being a part-time fucking Paddy, is it? That's not good enough.
What would fucking Merlin say? What would Merlin say?
Merlin. Merlin. What was he, Irish or Welsh?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Nah, forget about it. You don't even know who
You claim Merlin now as well, do you?
No, he was Welsh. He was.
So why did he back King Arthur being? Why did he back King Arthur being English then? Why did he back King Arthur being English?
He's not English like fucking Prince Charles and your fucking.
King Arthur was English. He was the first king of England.
He was the first actor, was he? Is that what you're saying?
He was the first king of England, bro.
Right, so he wasn't.
And Merlin, being Irish or Welsh, being a Celt, because there was no Ireland or Wales then, he was a Celt, had his back.
Oh my God.
Wait, what did you just say? There was no England and Wales when?
When they first come to these lands.
When St. Patrick was here. Is that what you're talking about?
No. When we first come here.
When was that?
When we first came here, first of all, we landed in Ireland. First of all, they landed in Ireland. And they come through Ireland, and then they come to Wales.
Who are we talking about? The Celts or the Romans?
The Celts, guys.
What? So Arthur was a Celt?
Not the cunts, the Celts.
Arthur was a Celt, was he?
But Paddy Beer stayed in Ireland because he knew where his bread is buttered.
Remember, Wales was part of Ireland.
But if he doesn't like Ireland now, that's not really my problem, yeah? But I am a proud Welshman, and I love my country. I'm not a part-time man like you.
Listen, I told you, Taffy, you cannot talk about what a man is when men in your country left our women and children to starve and to die during the famine. You cannot talk to me about what a man is.
When they wouldn't let...
We're all fucking men. We're all men in Wales. Let me tell you now.
When they wouldn't let the boats dock... Exactly,
not like all you fucking snowflake men all over fucking Great Britain at the moment.
When the English were leaving... When the English were starving us in our own land,
Well, there's
and we
nothing
tried
English
to
about
escape,
me.
what the fuck did the Welsh do about
There's
it?
nothing English
Absolutely
about me.
nothing. So fuck you,
There's 55 million
Welshman.
English. There's only 3 million Welsh.
sheep shagging.
3
paddy
million
man.
Welsh.
Yeah.
Good,
3 million.
Yeah, and
3
we only-
million. There's only
Yeah.
3 million of us. And you're
And
lucky
a
it's
million
only 3
people
million
died.
of us.
And a
You're
million of
lucky
us
it's only
died.
3 million of us.
A million of us died, and you could have prevented
You're
that.
lucky it's only 3 million of us.
And you got the cheek to say Welshman. Get out of here.
I'm proud to
Get
be
outta
fucking
here.
Welsh. I'll fucking back the Welsh as
Nothing
fuck
to
as
be
long as I
proud
got a
of.
hole in my
You got
arse.
nothing to be proud of.
As long as I got an hole in my arse and a breath in my mouth, I'll back my woman and I'll back my man.
What?
Because we stand tall. We're no better than you, but we stand taller than you.
What?
And if this country and if this island had to go to war, who do you think will be up the front? Who do you think will be up the front? Or who do you think will be up the back? Fucking hiding behind the fucking bike sheds.
And who's going to be hiding behind the royal family?
Who gives a fuck about them? Who gives a flying fuck about them? They're the first to go.
You do.
They can be the
You
first to
should.
go. They can be the first to go.
Prince
You
of
should
Wales.
fear.
Be
All
proud.
our fucking
Be proud.
all our
Be
castles
proud
have
of
been
your
smashed.
prince.
All our castles have been smashed.
Be proud of your prince.
No. I'm proud of my fucking self and my fellow men and women.
Nothing
Are
to be
you?
proud of.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm very proud.
Well,
Extremely
you don't
proud.
sound it. You don't
I'm
fucking sound
extremely
it.
proud.
You sound
I
like
don't
you
need to
were
shout
you were
about
better
it.
off
I
living,
know.
having a go at me and running me down.
I know my history and I can
You
stand
keep
on my
running me
history
down. You keep
very
running me
proudly.
down as a
You
Welshman.
don't even know.
You keep
You
running
don't
me
even-
down as a
You didn't even
Welshman.
know St. Patrick was
The
a Welshman.
minority
Go
in
away.
Britain. You run down the Welshman, who's the minority in Britain, right? To what? To get your own sort of self-gratitude? Why'd you do that?
Why are you a minority in Britain?
Because there's only 3 million of us.
I thought you guys conquered this land. I thought you took
Yeah,
over
we
this
did.
land.
But
So
we
why
did.
why
We
have you
did.
allowed yourself?
We
Why have
did,
you allowed
like,
yourself
but
to
it
be
wasn't
the
just
minority?
us, it was the Irish as well.
Why have you allowed yourself to be the
But
minority
like we are
if
still
that is the
Celts,
case?
whereas the
Oh, you
Irish,
can't answer
the
the
Irish
question.
have lost their identity. By the sound of it. Don't get me wrong. I still know a couple of good Irish men and women. Don't get me wrong. Who know exactly what they are and what their roots are.
Which is what?
Celt.
No. No.
Yes.
No.
Do you want me to prove it to you?
No, that's just people.
Do you want me to
that have
prove
been
it to you? Do
brainwashed.
you want me to prove it to you and make you
Try.
both look
You
stupid?
can try and I'll debunk you.
Do you want me to prove it to you and make you both look stupid?
Do it.
All right. All right. Hold on. Hold on.
Right now.
Yeah, I will. Hold on. Should really know though. I should really know. I shouldn't have to be doing this like.
Hit the like button.
Crazy ass fucking Irish people. If it wasn't so lost, I wouldn't have to do this shit like. But I will educate you both.
And then can you go and educate yourself about when your country
Go on, just listen up in it,
when your
Buttercup.
country was conquered by the Romans, yeah? Okay.
Listen up, Buttercup.
And then do some research on St. Patrick. But yeah,
Listen
go ahead.
up, Buttercup. We know early Neanderthals were in Britain about 400,000 years ago, thanks to the discovery of the young woman from Swanscombe, Kent. They returned to Britain many times between the 50,000 years ago and perhaps even later. During that time, the climate regularly switched between warm and cold. Right?
Wait, what's that supposed to prove?
I am finished. Not long after the humans were living in Boxgrove, the climate deteriorated. Signs of humans in Britain began to fade and disappear. Of all the glacial periods between Britain went through the last million years, one around 450,000 years ago, known as the Angelican glaciation, was the most extreme. Human survival in Britain became impossible. The absence of humans lasted for many millennia.
Right, can
We
I
know
just stop
early
you there?
in
Is this the Britain that you said didn't existed?
Well, I'm
when your
telling you
people
the
came
truth of
here?
what happened. I'm telling you the truth
So
of what
how can
happened.
we, if Britain didn't exist when your people came here, how can we be talking about Britain?
A deserted island.
450,000
No
years
human
ago, but yeah,
remains
carry on.
or tools have been found from Britain for the period 180 to 60,000 years ago. Although we know Neanderthals thrived elsewhere in Europe during this time.
No, Coffee.
At first it was too cold this far north. Then as temperatures rose, so did the sea levels. Britain was cut off from the mainland. Neanderthals could return. Museum researcher George, absence of evidence is, of course, not evidence of absence, but archaeologists have been excavating for more than 150 years. And
Sorry,
there is no...
what was that again? Sorry, reread that. Absence of evidence, what? Can you repeat that whole sentence,
No,
please?
okay, yeah. Museum researcher Sylvia Bello explains, absence of evidence is, of course, not evidence of absence. But archaeologists have been excavating for more than 150,000 years, and there is no evidence of humans from this time. No tools, no human remains, no marks from the butchery, no trace.
What's going on?
Adult female Neanderthal reconstructed from approximately 50,000-year-old fossil remains. Right? Neanderthals did eventually make it back to Britain, arriving via Doggerland. Do you know what Doggerland is, guys?
No, we don't know what Doggerland we were talking about earlier.
Well, I'll explain to you. I'll explain that in a bit. Listen up. A landscape now between the North Sea. Cut a long story short, it's a bit of landscape between the North Sea, right? The vast grassland plains supported herds of woolly mammoth, woolly rhino, and reindeer, as well as predatory wolves and hyenas.
What's that got to do with us being Celts?
What exactly?
I'm getting to it. I'm giving you background. The Neanderthals who ventured across the steeply faced bleak conditions with winter temperatures averaging a bitter -10. The lack of trees presented additional challenges, such as the shortage of wood for fuel and to use as shafts for their stone tools. Modern humans, Homo sapiens. Our own species is relative newcomer to Britain. The earliest direct evidence is a jaw fragment found in Kent's Cavan, Devon scientific analysis, estimated between 40,000 years old. It has only been continuous since 12,000 years ago. The modern humans who appeared in Britain were highly adaptable hunter-gatherers. Their ability to innovate was different from the preceding species. They lived in larger groups, had wider social networks, and moved over large distances. And that's you, Irish. This extended interaction led to the sharing of stories and information, including the spread of new ideas and knowledge.
So, hold on, where does it say that those hunter-gatherers were Celts?
Well, I'm coming to that. Modern humans stand out for their creativity and rich culture. Over a relatively short period, they developed a diverse set of tools using lighter bone and ivory as well as stone. They created artistic representations of the world through carvings, paintings, and sculpture.
And they never shagged sheep.
Well, they do now. Are you jealous of that?
Big up sheep, Tato. Sheep, Tato. What's good?
Slamming the lamb. Slamming the lamb, boys.
Between a sheep and a potato.
Yeah, sheep, Sheep
You're sounding
Tato,
a bit
you can
sheepish
talk.
at the moment, you pay.
Come off mute. Don't be shy. No need to be shy. Guys, let's welcome Sheep Tato to the panel.
Taffy will
My,
definitely
my, Delilah.
See? She's gone, Taffy. She
Okay.
ran off because of your fucking weirdness. You fucking Welsh cunt.
Tell me how I'm weird.
Huh? Start singing
Tell me how I'm weird. I want you to tell me how I'm weird. Tell me why I'm weird. Tell me why I'm weird.
I thought that was true.
I just told you, you start singing why Delilah to her.
Well, why can't I sing? Why can't I sing that song? Why can't I sing it?
You can, but not to a mixture between a sheep and a potato.
What about if I sing ba 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 ba?
Is that what you're singing to the sheep?
No, it is actually.
Is that before, during, or after?
During.
Did you lose your hair from when you were young because you couldn't get to the sheep quick enough? You were in the sea or something. You had to get out to the country with it.
Is it not illegal? Or have you got special laws down there?
Oh, Wales, they're allowed to have it, no problem.
Yo, Paddy.
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 Taffy. Taffy.
Paddy Taffy. Oh, Paddy Taffy.
Taffy, don't be a pussy bitch now at this stage. This is why you are the Welsh. The Welsh are the original pussy bitches.
And where did Sheep Tato go? Sheep Tato, can you come back, please?
Taffy.
I think Taffy's conceded defeat. It's all right.
No, it's Pesca. Just like Mackie did earlier on.
Well, you know, I pick up the Irish every day.
Padafi, exactly.
I don't know what the Welsh have to be proud of. That's what I was trying to ask him. Like, you know, what have they actually
very
got?
Very little.
In their
and
history,
he made
like,
it even worse, I think, by crying over Diana and stuff.
Yeah.
They had little before that, and then after that, it was... Boy. No.
Represented by a whole Prince of Wales. Anyways, big up Taffy. He must be going to cry into his pillow or something.
Into his sheep fucking skin pillow with the sheep wool inside.
Sheep wool. Sheep Tato, if you experience any sexual harassment, please call. We accept anonymous reports. We provide therapy service free of charge. Oh man. Hey, did Raw Beats never come back after yesterday's episode? I think he's still traumatized. PTSD about Jodeci. Was it not Jodeci? Casey and Jojo. That's the one. Seeing Hood. Oh, let me just shut up. Anyways.
Got very annoyed at me because I misheard the situation, you know.
Yeah, Taffy, that's right. Run away.
Is he gone?
Yeah. Typical weak man. Probably had a few sheep that was trying to escape, you know. Had to go and capture them. That's going to keep him warm tonight and probably feed him and his family next week.
Not cheering the sheep.
Multitasking sheep. Got many uses. Satisfy their sexual desires. Make them a few blankets and a Sunday stew. Come on. Or as he says, a lamb curry. Lamb curry.
Jump back on. We were only buzzing off your lamb chops or your sheep chops. Oh, seriously. I want to talk more about your fallen soldier, Diana.
His princess.
The Welsh fallen soldier, Diana.
Yes, victory for the IRA. Yay.
What?
Trilogy said victory for the IRA. Every time, come on. Oh, Dublin's gone. Oh, big up everyone. I'm out. Big up Jeds.
Where did everybody go? Everybody flying. Oh, I had a question, man, for the Dubliners. There was a couple of things about that history that I wanted to kind of ask some questions about, but oh well. Anybody want to jump back on? I had a question about. Well, I'll ask a question now. You said like there was a difference in what's that difference with you saying that Welsh are different to Irish because the DNA of the Celts are not the same as the DNA that the original Irish held? Are we talking about the supposed black people in Ireland before then, or were there Europeans that were not Celts that were there before the Celts? I wasn't aware of that. Yell, big up yourself, guys. Nice to come back on the panel, man. Yeah, man. I've been in. You know what? That little conversations like that, I like. I really like. But it'd have been nice if he'd give you some time to speak. You know, because in the middle of that argument, it was actually I was learning actually a little bit.
Say that again. I was
learning through the argument. I was learning a little bit about obviously the difference between Irish and Welsh outlook on Britain and who you guys actually are, and it's interesting.
Were you tuned in from me and Michael's talk?
A little bit. I came for the latter end. I had to go out for a bit, and then by the time I came back, Khan had gone, and there was just you, remaining on the panel. But you just, so you just started talking about Ireland. But what I wanted to a little bit cleared up, bro. It was because you and MD had similar. I think that was MD just on a panel. Had similar outlook, in a sense, in the form of it's Mary J. Yeah, that's it, Mary J. Big up Mary J. In the form of you're saying that the Celts are different to the Europeans that were there before in Ireland, right?
No.
So that's not okay, because you're saying that you don't share the same DNA, and I'm like, wait, aren't you Celts? I was thinking Dublin is just a sort of is just another person part of the. I thought Irish, Dublin, brother here, and Taffy are from the same tribe, pretty much, right? Because the Picts.
I could keep going. Can go? Yeah, the Picts.
Yeah, I would say the Picts were the first in the region in terms of the Europeans, and that made some sort of civilization impact in this part of the land, and they were obviously the stock from the Viking conquest. Then the Vikings stretched out to Francia.
No,
go on.
Picts, and listen. Right, the Scots are Irish already. I've already explained this all to Michael earlier on. And this all goes back to Egypt or to Kemet or whatever you want to call it.
Can I ask you the questions? Sorry, brother, just for a second before you give me a summary of it. What I wanted to know is with the Irish being the Scottish, that means that you're talking about the blood. I'm talking about the blood here, right? So therefore, you're not talking about so when the Picts were here, okay, in Wales, which were the
this is
can you agree that the Picts were here individually by themselves, the first ones here, like he's saying, out of the European stock that came from Germania?
That the Picts were here. I'm not.
Yeah, because the Picts, when I look at revised history, right, what they present to us, they say the Picts were the first in Britain, basically, and see, that's what I'm saying. So this is like,
the Picts is a tribe. Was a tribe in Scotland, right? Picts was a tribe in Scotland that's kind of recent, as far as I know.
Because what is interesting, MD Gold, you said that you're not from the same DNA, but I was assuming that Taffy was just from the same place as Dublin is. Well, he not for exactly the location, but I mean phenotypically, blood-wise, DNA-wise.
No, Taffy could be. Taffy could be. Taffy could be, but it's less likely in England. It's less likely in England because of all the recent mixing.
Yeah, of course, like the Normans, and the Danes as well coming in later.
The Anglo-Saxons, the Saxons.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah. All right. Because it's interesting that you was getting into the sort of nitty and gritty of the politics, where you was saying actually, Patrick was a Roman.
Well, he was a Roman
Welshman that went to Wales. So therefore, when they sort of conquered or did whatever they did, there would have probably been a majority of the Irish was like, wait, he's not a leader. He's not even bloody Celtic, let alone, or even English, let alone, you know what I mean? He's a Roman and he's just residing in Wales. So
right, but he
wouldn't have,
Patrick wouldn't have done anything else except for in Ireland. Do you know what I mean? His whole missionary was in Ireland. So that's why some people take him on as an Irish. Do you know what I mean? He brought Christianity to Ireland, is what they say.
That's cool. He just put a black sheep's head on his fucking display. It just threw me off.
Black sheep of the family, isn't it?
And Patrick was a sheep herder. Then he was taken as a slave from Wales and brought up to north of Ireland to be a sheep herder.
He was the original
just like Taffy. He was the original Taffy, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the original sheep shagger. Came from Wales.
The original sheep shack and paddy. Come on.
Herd sheep and shagged them.
That's interesting.
Sorry, is that a historical fact? Herded sheep and shagged them?
Isn't that what?
Or is this just implied?
Well, I mean, it's a stereotype about Welsh for some reason.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. I outside of Wales, sheep shagger actually means Welsh, right? That's what it means. Literally.
Oh, sugar.
Yeah,
that's got to be a lie, right?
No. That's what I was saying earlier. That I used to have an associate, and the only name I was ever given for him was sheep shagger, and nobody called him anything but. He just responded to the name.
That's deep. That is fucking deep.
Well, as Taffy said earlier on, he's proud to be a sheep shagger. So
that means I'm proud to be
Welsh.
Welsh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He knows that sheep shagger means Welsh. Any Cockney person he comes across can call him sheep shagger.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow, it's almost like Negro with Spanish. They kind of normalize a slur. and put it as a color in there. You know what I mean? So I can understand how that can happen quite easily. Oh, sugar. Oh, flip sake. Oh,
big up to this new panelist. I dare you. I dare you to speak. I dare you.
Bully XL sheep.
That's a pit bull. That's a pit bull size sheep.
No, what the fuck is that?
A fucking bull mastiff.
That's a sheep on rides.
That's like a bear sheep.
Could I please remind the panelists that we're doing a Street Fighter theme this week? Thanks. Yeah. Sheep fighter.
So what's this showdown that's happening on Saturday on Sniper's stream?
Dublin.
Sounds like
karaoke thing.
You ran Dublin by the sound of it, right?
I think Dublin is putting together information about Irish history of some sort. I'm not sure precisely what.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I like the Irish history because there's so many different parts of it, man. You know, when you talk about the druids and then the wizard and the tool, like, you know, I'm learning quite a lot. Even today, I've learned quite a lot. You know, that's why, yeah, the encyclopedia, Maku, the encyclopedia.
It's what you said, Es. It's that we both agree on the heritage. It's just the timeline, right? That's what you said the other day, right? On Saturday?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that would be helpful.
That's what I'm coming with on Saturday. This Saturday. I think they're coming. I think Tout actually came to Ireland. Yes.
Who?
Tout. Hermes.
Oh, so I don't know who any of these are.
Tout. The one Matthew has up on a Saturday as his little thing. It's the Egyptian god of knowledge and writing and the moon and something else. Tout.
Okay.
THOTH.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've heard of that. Is that a connection between the Isles and Egypt? Yeah, is that little connection?
Yeah. Well,
what you see? What's the Irish singer now? That Katie was doing that Egyptian sort of song. Katie Price, or was it Katy Perry? Showing a connection. Katy Perry was doing, you know, that song with that Egyptian song she did. So many like symbolic, so much symbology in that, and it shows the connection between Europeans in Britain and ancient Egypt. You know, I think there's something you try and get someone to break that down if you can. YouTube. I've got the name of the song, but it's an Egypt song. She's like talking about how, you know, she's singing about Egypt.
I think I can kind of remember the video of it. She had like an Egyptian video, is it?
She's fine.
I can't really remember the song though. I don't think so at all, man.
What, Katy Perry's nice? Nah, she's fit, mate. Oh, she's fit.
She's a creepy little head.
Nah, she's fit, mate. She's fit. She's got nice face, nice long legs. Yeah. Anyway,
creepy little head.
You reckon she's creepy? Why did you say she's creepy? Nah, I think
Sorry,
I don't know.
Are we perving over celebs now on TRILLUMINATI Live?
There's something very fit. I don't know what that is. I think it's her confidence.
Definitely not perving over Katy Perry. Anyway.
No, it's her energy as well.
King Gold is.
Nah. Do you know what? I had a little spree where I was like, all right, you know, I watch that thing a couple times, a little bit too many, and just examine it a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Just to see, you know, what symbology is involved, you know, and a little bit of her leg, you know, see how the lighting cut, you know. But apart from that, the Irish history is quite interesting because you said like we've seen how the English have come and gone into places and they used. It's really interesting actually to see the sort of divisive tactics they use. When I look at the Isles, there's been a lot of there's been a lot.
They've been invading Ireland for over fucking like 800 years or something.
See, that's the difference. There's a unique. There's a unique relationship that they have with all the different tribes, isn't it? The English, but it's quite abstract, it's quite vague, you know, the history there. But there's one thing that I do know is that the Irish have always been at war with the British, and British have never really looked into the ranks of the Irish for looking for royals, and you know what I mean? Because Scottish.
We've not always been at war. We've just constantly been invaded by them.
But what's interesting? Yeah. Okay, no, definitely they're warriors, man. Definitely the warriors of the Isles, it's definitely the Irish. But what's interesting is Irish is saying that a lot of Irish blood and people actually live in Scotland. So when they're getting queens, I think Queen was Anne Boleyn. Well, that was one of the queens came from actual Queen of Scots. That was the Mary Queen of Scots. So that means that she was just pretty much Irish. Because what I'm trying to see is a relationship, and obviously Wales, Princess of Wales is Welsh, but was the actual
popcorn going on tonight?
Was she actually Irish? The Mary Queen of Scots, or was she just an English Queen of Scots living in Ireland? I mean, was she English living in Scotland?
Okay.
Look it. There's a thing for your sweetheart. Hang on. Look at it. There's a thing for you. Show
Yo, Dubs, background noise.
Yeah, you got a little bit of background noise.
Dublin. Oh, yeah, Leprechaun.
Look first. Okay. That's not my finger won't fit in that. Oh my God, you did that. I didn't.
I don't know, maybe that was a stupid question.
Wait, Dublin.
No.
Yo, bro.
Hookah.
Hello.
Mom! Switch on the computer.
You know what, yeah, I'm encouraged,
take it easy, woman.
After listening to Taffy and Dublin, I actually feel like busting open my bottle of Ray Nephews. I feel like busting open my bottle of Ray Nephews, bro. Just straight, no mixer.
This is like Rivera.
Yeah, I got 2 words out of that, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take a swig of Ray Nephews, no mixer as well, but after hearing that last argument.
That shit ain't too good for your belly, man.
I think, you know what? I'm out, man. I'm out of I'm out of the the good old Reliant wacky backy, man. So thinking I want to get to sleep tonight. But anyway, yeah, well, I suppose what he's, maybe I might as well. I want to wait till Friday, innit? Because I'll probably get all these questions that I want. I can probably get that answered. But to be honest with you, I'm being a bit lazy because I could actually just go online, Google, or encyclopedia, or whatever, and look at the history itself myself. But yeah, I think the Wales, that's quite interesting because you've noticed, when they've had a queen out of Wales, it kind of makes sense that they're quite easily letting British people, and then there's not much resistance, against Rome as well. So yeah, man, some people just aren't warriors, isn't it? They just didn't want to die in the face of overwhelming numbers, and it's okay to be part of that tribe, but obviously if you're still in a state of Stockholm syndrome, then you're going to have a cognitive dissonance in regards to where your mind should be at, or loyalties, or what history really is. And I feel that's from fear, and fear brings it's just self-preservation. But are you willing to give up your integrity just to be conformist? Are you going to conform?
One sec, King God. Dubs, you got bare background noise, bro.
Sorry, bro. Thought it was on mute.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, go on, bro.
That was easy. Yeah, I think it's conforming, man. I think when you I feel like when when your people haven't stood up against the British, you're less inclined to want to rock the boat because you don't have this expectation of you from the public to think, oh wait, but you're such and such, your people went through so and so, so you should have this mindset. And I just blame it down to this whole liberal push of you know, individualism. Why people have got cognitive dissonance, or they just got they just dismiss reality, right? But they still claim that they're integral and they're honest, which is pretty much a contradiction. But it's quite interesting because when I speak out about institutional racism, I get the same type of I don't know, feedback from Taffy, where it's like, oh, so where's your loyalty lie? How can you disrespect the country you're coming to, you know, and the people in it, right? I'm talking about systemic racism at this stage. I haven't spoken about no people, no English or whatever really to any sort of racist degree. But yeah, I think it's conformity, fear, subconscious fear, and don't want to rock the boat type of thing. It must be a horrible world to live in. But once you get over that line of being honest, then trust me, man, it's I don't know what the word I can use really. It feels good, bro. You know. But yeah, I think we can all really see the picture. But with Scottish, there is really complex history with Scottish because you don't know even who they are. Irish just said, oh, they're Irish people. Just you know, certain people say Scottish are just English people that have moved to Scotland. And then other people say that they're all Celts, and then this was like, yeah, what should you believe? So it'd be interesting to see the Isles from not the mainstream, you know. I want to hear the
Different
British history from Irish, brother. So or from the Celt, because we definitely get it from the English now. You know, forced narrative. Well, I felt like the Irish have been very warrior-like people. So I can imagine the English would have been using them for more than just to discriminate or ostracize. You know, they've taken queens from Scotland. They've taken queens from Wales. So I just don't see
mainly it's just that they wanted our land.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And the power.
They wanted the land because the land is fertile and because it was used for transport links as well. So
yeah, so it's a power grab. Yeah, it's a power move. Political move. And I think with the Irish, you can kind of see that breakaway where there's the gypsy side of it as well, isn't it? They kind of sort of went up a little bit,
Shots
off grid. No. Gypsy's not a negative thing for me. I just think it's someone off grid, isn't it? No, if you say Gyppo though, it's meant to be racist, isn't it? You know Gyppo.
Yeah.
Or Pikey. Pikey's another one that you can't say is a racist. Well, I don't know what it means, but maybe what's it?
Irish travelers just prefer the title traveller.
Okay, what does pikey mean? Is that
I don't know. I actually never heard that until I came over to this country, so I don't know.
Oh, sugar. Oh, yeah, that's probably. I think that's a country.
I think
probably another Cockney term.
Yeah, when I did hear it, I kind of, me personally, I used to associate it with like English travellers, but then I suppose I realised that that's just what a lot of people over here call travellers in general.
So you see that their breakaway type of off-the-grid mentality from when obviously the English has come invaded. But Scottish is a bit. Scotland's obviously closer to was it Londonian?
Travellers' whole lifestyle is different. Travellers' lifestyle is fantastic.
Yeah, no, it is. I can. Oh, definitely, definitely. I've seen into it actually. You see modern day on YouTube. You got like what's it called? Travel
Oh, do
into
you know what?
marriages.
Don't even get me started on that, because that actually irritates me, because that to me just shows that they're losing touch with their culture. Like the more that they're just getting involved in this
Westernized thing.
media hype and all of that. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they've always liked to have nice things and the best of the best, and all of the modern stuff that they can, but I feel like they're definitely losing touch with a lot of their ancient traditions. And I think a lot of them, because they've become so money hungry and money focused, I suppose they've become like very materialistic, and that's why you see all them big fat gypsy wedding and all of that bullshit.
Yeah, that's it. That was it. Gypsy weddings. That's quite but they're right though. They're right. You can see they're nice.
But they do that. I mean, like I know with my family, they never held back when it came to money. Like all of their weddings have been big weddings. They've had the big dresses, the Cinderella carriages, all of that. Like spending stupid amounts of money. But it's the same when their kids are born. They're putting them in silly outfits and gold jewelry and stuff like that the child isn't going to be able to wear in 6 months' time. Do you know what I mean? So they've just, I think they've done well in getting money over the years and building up businesses and acquiring land and becoming very smart, like business wise. But what they're doing with that money now, this is the problem. Because I see them all over YouTube, like counting up their flipping banknotes and stacks and this and that. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, this is not how I've seen travelers live when I was growing up.
Yeah. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, you're mixed. Are you mixed race? You're mixed race.
Who, me?
Mary J. Are you mixed race?
MJ,
yeah.
What gave you that impression?
Because you said that you was 100% Irish. I was like, what?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, but you sound like you've got a little bit of a sister in you.
Wow.
Wait, I'm 100% sister. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, right. Okay.
Hold on.
All right. You're from Ireland. I get it. All right.
No, you're not the only person who thought she had a kind of aggressive sounding, suspicious tone.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting, isn't it? You're quite not nationalistic in your mindset, but you know where you've come from, innit? And obviously you love your country, you love your people, where you come, your origins, isn't it? So
yeah,
of course. Right, but it's quite interesting to see the two Celt. Well, I don't know, and that's the thing.
Irish.
With the Irish, you can't really tell because a lot of Spanish went to Ireland, and they had the old African kings supposedly were living in Ireland. That's where they got dethroned. But with Ireland, it's a bit of a confusing one. What the Welsh, you can tell they're Celtic, and they haven't really got many other people that have gone up in there. The Britons probably mixed up with them, but they weren't. Yeah, they probably got the least homogenized group or mixture of DNA or gene pool. But the Irish have got probably the most vast. Just as much. I think Scottish have got more Norman blood, just because of the location. Obviously, the migration to there from the English. I think they're most. See, now the English have mostly migrated to Scotland, so it's hard to tell now who the Scottish are really, which is quite interesting.
It's hard to tell because the English history is so sporadic and what's the word I'm looking for? It's been manipulated so much. So you don't even know who the historical people groups who were here it's hard to really tell who they really were.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Because don't forget the leaders of the British, the English, have been ousted like 2 or 3 times in the last 1,000 years here in Britain. And 1066 is one of them, isn't it? When the Normans came, so that was the most recent. So they've lost power. So you don't know how much English blood was here and survived and multiplied. Yeah, so no, that's like it is really interesting in that part. I think someone was talking about the dynamics of why migration is so good. I think it was common, but I've got to agree with him. That's why I'm so attracted to it. But yeah, it's quite funny. Yeah, when I look at things historically, I always feel like this is all orchestrated and it's all a big pantomime. And the Celts are really deep down in it together, and to the very bottom. But I feel like people just want to fill what role they can, so they don't feel so they're not rocking the boat. That's why we've got brothers on here crying about Princess Diana.
Being about Princess Diana, the sheep shagger.
Yeah.
What about her? Was she actually Welsh?
Who Diana? I think she was. Wasn't she half Welsh and half sort of Gotha? So she had the Gotha line in it. She was from the Windsor line, so they would have been fully German. Yeah, she would. They'd have been. They had Turk blood, inherent blood from obviously the years that they've, been, done diplomacy and taking on different bloods and stuff in it. But on the whole, they were. She was, wasn't she mixed with? Wasn't it half? Was she half Welsh, half Windsor? So she's half Welsh, half royalty basically. But that's what I got from it. I may be wrong. Maybe it's just royalty went and like occupied there, and they never mixed, and they're just plain German, and with all the other mixes along the way, because they're mixed with all different types of mixes.
I thought she was the people's princess because she wasn't didn't have any royal connections.
To be a pleb.
Yeah.
Oh, was she a pleb? She
no, that's what I thought. But now you're saying that she was
because someone was on here before, and they said that Princess of Wales was a royal, and she was from.
Are you sure they weren't talking about what's the new one? The new one.
No, look, Diana was a Spencer. It was a royal family. Don't get it twisted. Diana was a Spencer.
But was she? But where was a well? But what? Wait. So wait. Was she English royal or was she Welsh royal? Is there royals in Welsh? In Wales?
English? No, there is no royals in Welsh. Fucking cocksuckers. Fucking to the English.
What's with Dublin in the Welsh right now? What's going on?
I don't know.
Yeah. So she came from the house of Spencer. So that means that they see. This is what I'm saying. The English have gone, parked their asses in Scotland, parked their asses in Wales, right? And they've won over the people. They haven't mixed with these plebs. These aren't just plebs they're taking off and say, "Oh yes, you're the highest echelon of the Welsh society. We will marry you." I think they've just planted their asses there, and they're marrying their own.
One of her grandmothers was a Dame Ruth Sylvia Gill.
Oh, who? The Princess Diana.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's Dame blood, Turk blood.
No, not Dame. Dame. D-A-M-E.
Oh, is it? Okay. I know there's definitely Dame blood in the royal family. But it'd be interesting if you look at the royal family now we have in Britain. If you look at their mixes, I mean, it would probably go to about 5 to 10 different nations within the last couple of hundred years, maybe even. They've mixed all the time, man. But there's Turk. Oh, yeah, Khan Erdogan. He knows about this.
What's happening?
I was
going to
royal
say,
family,
as far as I know,
they've got Turk in them.
A little while ago, they kind of like run out of royalty, so they imported a load of like cousins from Germany. So most of the aristocrats in the UK, they're from that bloodline, and I think Lady Diana was from that lineage of aristocrats that got imported in from Germany to sort of give the royals kind of like people to marry into.
Outcrossing, if you will.
Yeah, basically, because they're all German, really. Because even Prince Philip, they call him the Greek, but really he's German, like by blood, he's German. There ain't no Greek royalty since Alexander.
But would he
so
have had a little bit of that
German,
inherent?
really.
Would he have had inherent blood though, along the line, like 5%?
Yeah, of course, he's German, isn't it, through and through. He's like the Greek royalty was stopped at Alexander, isn't it? There ain't been a Greek monarch since then.
But the blood would have still carried on into the royalty now, which obviously with the Turk blood and
who? No, they ain't got
now
Turkish
the royal
blood.
family.
What happened was when the Mongols took over part of Russia, yeah, the Russians had to marry Russian royalty married into the Mongols, and one of the Queen's distant cousins from I think her mum's side had that Mongol DNA, that because you know the ones that all died of thalassemia. What I forget what ones it was. I think it was all the Russians, innit? You know, or the Russian royalty, they all had thalassemia. That's because that mixture of the Mongol blood and them that didn't really kind of like work out. So this thalassemia thing like killed them all off. I think there was like one little girl that survived or something, and she ended up having to run away or whatever that story or whatever about her. But like they got Mongol mixed in with them, not Turk though.
Oh, but why have Boris Johnson got Turkey with him?
Because his family was the ones that they got set up to take over Turkey, right? But the Turk thingy rebelled and hanged his great granddad. So his whole family had to run away because what they were British puppets. They were going to take, like, you know how the Saudis they say, oh, the royal family they've been installed by Britain. Sort of same thing where they tried to install this puppet family, but the Turks rebelled. I think that because the army took over. And they just hanged them in the streets. They hanged them off the lampposts or whatever. They killed his great granddad in the streets. So his family ran to England.
Oh, sugar. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, but Lady Diana was German by blood.
But so she wasn't actually Welsh. She had no Welsh blood in her at all. She just resided in Wales.
The Welsh didn't have no royalty unless you want to go back to King Arthur. I think King Arthur was Welsh. Yeah.
Interesting.
But that's going way, way back. Like they will be the original, the proper Britons. But obviously these lot, they're all the Saxons and all these lot that come in, innit? Like, so these lot ain't even related to majority of the population. They're just invaders. All these German clans.
Well, yeah, but a lot of them are living here in the UK, in London. A lot of here or England.
I forget how long ago it was. I think it was a little while ago. They imported a load of Germans over here, like to be the aristocrats.
To refine the blood.
No, when you watch films about like what's his name? What's his name again? The one who had the 7 wives or whatever. King Henry VIII, yeah. And you see the court and all that, and all the people that are around him. They're like their cousins, their distant cousins. They're like an extension of royalty, but they're actually the aristocrats, the landowners, and they're all their own family anyway.
Henry VIII, they're the aristocrats and landowners, so they're the actual Anglo-Saxons. They look a bit Norman though.
Yeah, so they are royalty in a way as well, like, but they're not actually like being crowned. But they are the cousins of the royalty that they marry into, innit?
Yeah. So they're like yes, I hear you. So they would be from the original settlers, or not original, but from that Slavic stock, or that Slav stock.
Who?
That originally came here, the Pict stock. You know when Brittany was taken over, when Britain was taken over by the Romans,
the Normans, William the Conqueror.
And the Normans, when they were taken over.
Battle of Hastings, 1066. That's William the Conqueror.
That's the Normans. But before that, when the Romans took over, that was from, and even from 1066, that was, you're talking about. Yeah, that's them people there. But don't forget that so the Tudors. The Tudors were they the French? Was that the French contingent?
The Normans. Not the Tudors.
The Normans moved into
the Normans were the Norsemen of Norway. They took over France, and then from France they moved into England.
Yeah, that's when it's Francia, isn't it? See what I'm saying? Like, and they even lie about.
I'm not really a big fan of royalty. I ain't really studied too much on this royalty thing. Like, I'm not really that much of a big fan of them. Like, I know people that they can reel off all the names and all the kings and all that, and I'm not really that bothered by them. You know what I mean? They're like small fry, innit? They ain't nothing special.
Yeah, this Princess Diana, she's one of the daughters of the 8th Earl Spencer. So yeah, she definitely wasn't no people's princess.
Nah, no way.
See, that's where you feel like the Welsh had
a 300-year-old line, 250-year-old line.
Well, I don't know how true it is, but I heard that Meghan Markle is actually their distant cousin as well. You know, these that love marrying their cousins, isn't it? I heard that Meghan Markle, obviously on her white side, she's related to them anyway. Because when you look at their faces, they just look so similar. Like, you can see similarities. So I kind of do believe it. Like, it's possible.
Let's check it out.
Easy, man. I missed them research times, man. I was mad on this research shit at the same time. But the Isles is confusing to me, man. It's like the most confusing part of the bloody world. I know more about Turkish conquest and where they went over, and you know, the whole Ottoman Empire more than I know about the British Isles. Look how small the bloody place is. It's just like, who would want to come to this shithole? Like, so many people have come here. Well, compared to everywhere else, actually, no one's really come here. But anybody would fucking come here. I think, to be honest with you, I think the reason why Romans came here was just for soldiers, slaves. They just really were just on this slave thing. And obviously, they definitely had something to do with cleansing black people from the obviously Catholicism and a push. But I mean, yeah, that makes sense, man. See what I'm saying? It all makes sense. St. Patrick was a Roman Welshman. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden now we know about what St. Patrick's was really. It is at its foundation.
You know who the last British were to become Christian? It was actually the Scottish, and it was actually the Irish that made them Christian. It was St. Aidan crossed over from Ireland to Scotland. The Scottish were stubborn
behind that, though.
They were stubborn. The Irish, the Scottish. They wouldn't conform.
So they weren't the English quite staunch Christians as well?
Scottish or the Scots, though? There's a difference, right?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I think it would have been more probably the Scots and the Picts and all them, like all their tribes, innit? Yeah, way back
then. They got run out.
Right? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but they were refusing Christianity for a long time. But I think that the Irish finally convinced them.
So what were the English doing at this time? Weren't they trying to push in?
They couldn't penetrate, innit? Because them men were in the mountains, in the highlands, and they were camping out, like guerrilla warfare, innit? So they couldn't really get to all of them.
Interesting. So
you know what I'm saying? Because the English were fighting Roman style with like legions and big armies, and every man was on foot and shit. But these were up in the mountains, like, you know, guerrilla warfare style. They couldn't get to them.
In heavy armor as well, innit? Cavalry.
That's it. They couldn't get to them.
The terrain, yeah. But yeah, the Scottish held out for quite long, man. You know what I mean? They've been battling for a while to get to a French to English. But that's interesting. Now you say that I've seen there's been the most sort of religious groups of people in Britain. I would say was Irish actually. I always seem to see Irish sort of hierarchy when it comes to Catholic Church and Christianity. I don't know what that is.
Ireland was proper Catholic until I think about 50 years ago, because all these like paedophiles in the church and all that. The Irish, once they got a whiff of that, they were like, "Nah, man, fuck this," and they just left it all. They just got disillusioned with it. So for about 50 years now, yeah, like they've just abandoned it because of
what was that?
There was too many cases of them paedophile the priests and all that, and the church didn't really do nothing about it. They didn't crack down on them hard enough to make an example of them. So obviously the people felt, some sort of arms about it, because they were like, look, we're handing over our children to you to educate them, and you're doing this, like you're betraying our trust, isn't it? So I don't think. Yeah, so they just I think it's been about 50 years now. Ireland's not really that Catholic no more, really.
Is that not ironic that the Irish are forcing the Scottish to be Christians, and then now they've come away from it, and because of that reason? That's quite.
Well, do you know how pivotal Ireland's been in Catholic history? When the Visigoths and I think was it the Huns, yeah, when they flattened Rome, yeah. They burned all the churches and all the books and all the what's it called, all the scriptures, and all the churches in Ireland had to send their copies to Rome to bring up Christianity back onto its to its level, in terms of like paperwork and like books and shit. Yeah. So if it weren't for the Irish, get me, Catholicism wouldn't have survived. It would have just been like dust within history, ashes.
Cheers, MJ in Dublin.
Remind me who Attila the Hun was. Who was Attila?
Attila the Hun was a thing, innit? It was a Hun. So they were like Central Asian, like Turks that kind of like run all the way through. No, I don't think they were more Turks than Mongols. Like they were kind of more European in their appearance. So they run all the way through to I think France. They took over like up until France. They had their day in it, but they were just like a gang in it. They were just ruthless. I don't think they were trying to establish any kind of like state or anything like that, because they weren't Muslim. Don't forget, they were just like thingies in it, like Apaches. Like Apache Indians. They were like them. They were just like ransacking. Yeah, they weren't really looking to set up They weren't like looking to marry into the people and establish themselves. They were just on a rob, innit? Just robbing everything and burning and pillaging. They were just on a mad thing.
Yeah. That's quite funny, man. We see this Khan blood, man. It's everywhere, bro. I know British brothers. Khan, yeah. So he. I'm
not really a Khan. Obviously, my dad just named me Khan, my first name, innit? I'm not really a Khan. Khans are like. They're like their own caste, innit? They got their own thing, their own caste. You get me?
Yeah. I mean, the name Khan though. The reason why there's so many Khans in the Middle East and Persia, that is because of this brother Khan, right?
Well, no, really, because of Genghis Khan, innit? Because like Genghis Khan, then like he had a huge empire. Then when he broke it up into 4. Gave it to 4 of his sons, and they each like expanded it out in their own direction. And then obviously his nephew Timur, he took over India. So they just spread the name far and wide. They took over Persia, like half of Europe. Like they just went on a mad one, innit? Like because obviously they had the technology in it. They had like swords in it and metal and things like that. Like no one had that. Like to have a metal sword would be the equivalent now of having a Ferrari, like money wise. You get me? So when these learn how to make swords now, like blacksmiths and all that, they were just decapitating man for fun, innit? Like man's coming to fight them with pitchforks and fucking sticks and stones, and they're just decapitating motherfuckers, like riding around on horses and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they're fighting. Imagine fighting an army. They're all on foot and they got spears, wooden spears, and you're coming riding down like cavalry with your horses and just tearing off their heads. Like that's how it was. So they had the technology in it, and then obviously they got the cannon technology from China, and then they were unstoppable. They just started like blowing up castles. Like them cannons were like next level, in it. That would have been like the equivalent now of missiles, in it. So they had technology. That's why they were like on the rampage like that.
It's almost like when this Mehmet.
It's like history repeating itself, isn't it? Like they're going to China to buy cannons. Everywhere. Now everyone's going to China to buy like rocket launchers and shit. Like it's like history is repeating itself.
But why there was a stage when the Germans were the ones people to go to, innit, and the people from Scandinavia were making weapons, right?
I think the Bulgarians had good cannon makers.
Yeah, because that's who Mehmet II bought cannons from them, didn't he?
Well, yeah, they designed it and built it for him, innit? Like they were the thingies, innit? They were the engineers, let's say.
So it was quite interesting to see how people would be no part of any war, but they'll definitely sell you a nuclear bomb. So it's like,
this
world's fucked up, bro. It's a really fucked up world when you look at it properly.
Humans are fucked up, bro. Humans are fucked up. But
it's like
you got to remember, like if you've had kids here, you'll know, like the most calm and placid person. Once you have kids and you go into survival mode where it's like, fuck you, yeah, my kids are gonna survive and I don't give a fuck, yeah, you become like a different creature. Like you go, like, you know, they call it lioness syndrome. Like it's like that, isn't it? Once you have kids, like you see the world differently.
I suppose.
You know what I'm saying? But if you ain't got kids, it's like eat, sleep, shit, fuck, enjoy your life. It's all about like hedonism, enjoying yourself. Like everything you do is for yourself, innit? But once you have kids, man, everything changes. And I think that that's why, like, you know, people are just like going to war, fighting each other, creating like these legacies, and like it's just the flip side of love, isn't it? Really, they're doing it for love because they love their country or they love their family or they love their children. Like people sacrifice their own lives, isn't it, for what they love, and that's what's pushing people to like do extraordinary things. You know what I'm saying? Like think about Genghis. Like he was one little guy. Like through his like determination, his passion, man took over like a third of the world.
Oh, his people were definitely suffering.
Like, think about his children's children are still like reaping the reward of it, and like they were just benefiting like from that. You get me? From that work that he put in.
Yeah, no, his people were
generations.
Like
think about it. Like when the Mughals came from the Mongols, right? They took over India, and when the British took India off them, I think India was like worth, because it was a lot bigger than what it is now. Yeah, it was like surrounding territories as well. Was 25% of the global GDP. That's how much it was worth. That's how much these lot raised up India, the Mughals. It was like worth a quarter of the world's whole wealth. Like England's still spending that money now. All the money they robbed from India, they're still spending that. That money ain't run out. That wasn't even that long ago. That's 25% of the world's GDP. It's shocking how much it was worth. That's crazy to even think about it. That's why it's called the jewel of what's it called?
Where are the Mongols from again?
The jewel of the Nile. The Mongols come from the Mongols. They come from the Mongols.
Oh shit! The Mongols were raiding, bruv. They raided everywhere. The fuck? They raided 25% of the world's wealth.
Yeah, but really, they flopped though. Because where are they now? Now
yeah, exactly. I'm like, wow. How did they give all of that up?
Don't know, bro.
Did they manage to do that? That's
England, didn't it? England just picked up all the empires that collapsed. England just picked up the pieces, bro. The Ottoman Empire, they just took Jerusalem, they took everything, bro. They just took all the wealth. Like really, the Turks done well to hold on to Turkey. They had to fight a separate war, a 4-year war against, I think, England, Italy, like, and a few other countries. They had to fight them off for 4 years. Like they had the Turks on the back foot. They were going to take the whole of Turkey. And these lot had to fight like from the brink of like having nothing, from the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. They had to kind of like round up troops. You get me? Like fighting with all ancient weapons. But you know who helped them? Like really, no one rates them. But really, it was Russia. It was Russia that helped them. Russia sent them back. Yeah, Russia helped the Turks to fight off England because they thought, you know what, we don't want England to win, innit? So they just sent all the arms to thingy. They sent all the arms to Turkey to fight off the things. Fight off the English because they didn't want England to win, innit? Because the Russians hate England.
Russia's been
they
beat
hate
down.
England. They hate England, bro.
Yeah, do you know why? Because England are Saxons, and Saxons have historically put Russians in fucking slavery from day dot.
They hate them. So they were like, do you know what? Fuck the English, and they just sent all the even though they were enemies with the Turks, like they hated each other for a long time. They just sent them all the weapons they needed to fight off the invaders, and they had to fight them for like 4 years straight. I think England, Greece, I think was it. They attacked them from all sides, bro. Like, and on their worst day, they had to like pull it together and like they had to win, innit? They had to pull off the victory, and they done it.
They
managed to do it, but they had to give a lot of concessions. They gave away like all the territories in Europe. Like, see what they're fighting over now? All that that territory in the sea, all the what's it called? All the oil rights and all that. That's what they're fighting over now, innit? France. That's why France is pissed off. Because France is like, nah, like we run the Mediterranean, like because they got all the Egyptian territories, isn't it? Like, all the coastline of Egypt, that's where all the oil is, isn't it? Going out to Cyprus, all across to Turkey, all around Greece, all that area.
England have got that, yeah.
Turkey's saying, no, but we want our cut now, innit? And they're like, no, but you signed all that away. And they were like, yeah, but that was a 100-year agreement, and that 100 years is up now. So now we want our peace back, innit? So that's why, innit? That's why everyone's going to be like bad-mouthing Turkey, making Erdogan look like he's the next Saddam. Like, it's just that it's the machine. The media machine's going to start now, innit? Because they're going to start claiming their rights back.
Yeah, but the funny thing is France will go at Turkey, but they won't go at America. And America was one of the only places, apart from England, to rob France, isn't it?
Is it?
So it's interesting. Well, I think apparently America robbed France from Fort Knox, isn't it? For the gold in Fort Knox.
What came from France?
That was from when France fucking their conquests going to Egypt and all of that. Yeah, and that is the most you will find out if you speak to certain people. But I've only heard that a couple of times.
France are the worst of the worst.
They got robbed.
Do you know how much money they tax Africa every year? For nothing. They don't do nothing for the money. They just tell all the African countries, you got to cough up X amount every year. And it's like over 1/3 of Africa. That's the cough up to France. It's not even England, it's France. They're the motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, they're completely backed by England. And you know why there's no question of a doubt? I tell you why there's no question of a doubt. I tell you why there's no question of a doubt. I've checked all the ladies out. You're the finest thing that I've seen, sexy lady. I don't know why I just want to break out into that because but anyway, there's no question of a doubt that they're in with it because the Anglo-Africans are dying, right, by the thousands, getting misplaced by French African-speaking peoples, right? So already. The English have put a number of things, on YouTube.
Bro, let me say something. When people talk about the French, when people talk about the French, yeah, they think about fucking French bread and fucking snails and shit like that, and funky hats and people walking around with fucking garlic around their necks.
Posh.
Do you know who the French are, bro? They're on another level, fam. Like the French, yeah, they've won more wars than any other country. Don't forget Napoleon, he was a G as well. Yeah, the French have won and gone to war more times than any other country in the world. They're the most successful war country going. Yeah, even in the Roman times, yeah, the French gladiators were the fiercest gladiators on earth. But French are on another level, bro. Don't think they're just walking around designing clothes and chatting shit. Like, they're ruthless. Like, if you look at their portfolio globally, what they're running right now, yeah, they're taking the piss out of Africa. The whole of them Philippines and all them areas, like them and the Portuguese all run through all that area. Yeah, they got like bare territories in Canada and all around there. Like, they're fucking taking the piss, bro. By rights, like no Frenchman right now should even be working. They should just be living off that money. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you know where else
Seriously,
they've
they're
gone as well?
taking the
They were
piss out
in
of the whole
Egypt.
world, bro.
They
Yeah.
fucking blew off the noses of the Egyptian. They apparently are the ones that did it. So they definitely stole some shit out of there, as well as the British.
Bro, they're
This
the
is why they're in it
motherfuckers
with the
of the
British.
world, bro. You know how
See,
many
now that's the thing.
how many
looking at a page
Algerians
where I
they
see
murdered? They murdered
noses
bare
blown off of
Algerians.
Mongols and Huns.
Do you think? Sorry, go on. What was that, cuz?
I said I'm looking at a picture of a nose blown off of a Mongol or Hun statue. Can't remember which one it is. I've scrolled far down the page now.
No, I've noticed. Yeah,
What,
all
a
these
nose?
nations have had black rulers or leaders. Like the Ottomans had black leaders. Suleiman Barbarossa was mixed Turk and Moorish, and you always see this. You see it in the Ethiopian wars, the Abyssinian wars. They were half Ethiopian, half Abyssinian. You see, there's always a way, bro. And Abu Nobunaga, a lot of these ancient Japanese warriors were black, and noblemen were black, you know, and samurai and yakuza were black mixed. So they always had these black leaders. So that makes sense that the Hun first order.
So is it natural to see your people in every sort of story with it through history?
Nah, what it is Dublin, yeah. If you look at the out of Africa, what's it called? The out of Africa theory.
Yeah, well, I know, but that all that says, Can, is that we're all one.
No. We're not all one. We're not all one. We're not all one. Yeah.
If we're all out of Africa, hell no.
Let me explain it to you. Within Africa, yeah, there's like there's many different races. You can't just say, oh, they're African or oh, they're just black. Yeah, they're genetically different from each other. They're actually different races, right? So what you got 100,000 years ago, yeah, people left Africa, yeah, people like similar to modern day, I don't know, Nigerians, for example, yeah. These people literally populated the whole world, yeah. Then 60,000 years ago, people who are more like, let's say, Ethiopians or like Somalis, yeah, they then left Africa, and by the time they got past Israel, they'd already started becoming lighter, right? So by the time they reached where the black people were, right, the black people that he's saying now he's calling them black, yeah, we could call them people that would be similar to now, like Thai people. They'll look like how Thai people are, so they'll still be very melanated, yeah. But the second wave of people,
this info from though, Khan? It's the Mani people in Thailand that's still fully dark skinned with thick hair and
yeah. There's pockets of people that still maintain their melanin. But what I'm saying is the darker ones, they're always from the 100,000 years wave. Yeah, the people who eventually became white, like in the Caucasus, they come from the 60,000 year wave. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would have been more like originally like Ethiopians and that, like Hebrews or Hebrews even.
Ethiopians
or Israelites.
Yeah, or Hebrew. You could even call them Hebrews even still.
Mixed race, Aboriginal. We call them Aboriginal.
No, they're not mixed race. They're just like they just can't maintain their melanin outside of Africa.
Well, see, this is the Khan. See, now this is what I see as they were out and they were just breeding with anything, and that's why the phenotype has changed from East Horn phenotype to sort of varied, and that's why they whiten so quickly, because I think these other humanoids that moved out or that they came in contact with were just not as melanated as the Sudanese, for example. They were just sort of less melanated, maybe a bit more hairy, maybe, you know, had a different phenotype, body shape, anatomy. That's what I think. I don't think it was just naturally by the sun, but yeah, even if it was from your
the reading that I've done on here, yeah, all life started literally in South Africa, right? Now from South Africa, the Neanderthals basically went straight first out by Egypt through Ethiopia, let's say, into Israel. Yeah, the Neanderthals were the first tribe to actually make it out of Africa. Yeah.
Hold on. Big problem there. Neanderthals. How do you know that they had the mental intelligence, the intellect to even be able to survive a couple of days out of Africa.
What do you
And what
mean?
made
I don't
them?
understand.
Because Neanderthals, yeah, you're talking about Neanderthals, bro. They were missing
When I'm saying out
frontal
of
lobes
Africa, I'm talking
of their
about
brain.
like Israel, around that area, like around Israel.
Are you not looking at the screen right now?
Yeah.
These are albino kids born from 2 black parents, and the albinism's caused straightening of the hair and blue
Yeah.
eyes.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? It makes your
Mm-hmm.
hair go straight.
So in one generation, it don't take thousands of years or being out of Africa or any of that.
So that's
No,
even
but
worse.
genetic
It's not
defect.
worse, but more
let me
deficient
give you
than
a
vitiligo.
let me give you one sec. Let me give you a parallel comparison, right? So basically, if you notice, a lot of mixed race people, yeah, they got green eyes, innit? Have you noticed that? Like, there's a high percentage of mixed race people with green
I
eyes,
see a
right?
lot of them.
Right. But with humans who weren't mixed race, people who left Africa, yeah, and went out of Africa, they like basically after about 100,000 years, they of them getting lighter and lighter, they started having green eyes. So the green eye mutation in non-mixed race people, like white Europeans with green eyes, yeah, goes back to that same genetic mutation that happened, and it took
what's
like them.
interesting?
So what I'm saying is, like they gradually got lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, and when they lick that 50-50 split, yeah, like mixed race people are, that's when you see the green eye started popping up. But before that, it wouldn't have. So that's literally reached that 50-50 threshold.
Well, what I've noticed is that I'd say that a lot of Africans, half African mixed with white, result in less mixed race children having green eyes. But Caribbeans, on the other hand, because they've had more of a European mix throughout their history, usually come out with greener or lighter skinned eyes or lighter skin or hair that's sort of almost blonde sometimes. But that's because they're less African. They've got less African genes in them to that degree. It's just that small little percentage, as you know what I mean. So when they mix with an African, when they mix with a white person, they're still going to have a lot of that European gene in them already. So yeah. So that's why I think there's a lot of them that come out with that.
So like a lot of this was from that paper that James SC showed us, yeah, when he came on here. He showed us a paper that explained how the population of Britain was originally black and was replaced up to 90% by let's say people from Northern Caucasus, like Turkish type people, yeah. So that proves, yeah, like through DNA and all that, and like them doing DNA tests, like this cheddar man, for example, would have been melanated. I'm not saying he would have been black or like phenotypically black, but he would have been dark, innit? So even though like they say green eyes, for example, so blue eyes, for example, comes from Turkey or Europe, them people that we think of as having blue eyes, what people don't realize, they were actually black people with blue eyes. Their eyes turned color before they lost their skin color, right? So Cheddar Man would have had blue eyes and still be melanated, still being dark. And then when the northern the Caucasians come over, they basically like took over up to 90%. So all the previous culture, like all this Stonehenge and Druidism and all this African culture, would have been lost. You get me?
Right.
But they would have been displaced by Asians. Yeah.
That makes more sense because I've seen a lot of Asians with
90%, bro, in the UK. 90% replaced. 90%.
You're talking about Indo-European though, not really Asian.
Yeah. Yeah, Indo-Europeans came from Asia. They were Asian.
Yeah, but not the Asians that we currently know. When we see Asian, I think of Raj. I think of, you know what I mean? Southern Indian, Punjab. When I think of Asian.
A great percentage of Asians are actually white, bro.
Interesting. You see, it's but you know, originally or
if you're counting Iranians, like think about it, the population of Iran, yeah, northern India, like where all them Sikhs live up the north. They're all quite like a lot of them are white, innit? Like Raji's lot, they were marrying into the Dravidians, the darker people, for generations. That's why Raji's dark like that. Like even on his DNA test, he come up with some Finnish blood in there, like Finland DNA, because the Sami people, the blonde people that live in the top of Finland, yeah, they were traveling all back and forth from the top of India, yeah, to the top of Finland, and that's where the Germans come from, innit? That's why the Germans use the swastika, because they know that their lineage goes from northern India, yeah, across to Finland, down through Estonia, and into Europe, into the heartland of Europe, and that's where the German thingy is. That's where the lineage comes from.
Okay, all right.
Whereas the English, the British, they all come from like the southern Mediterranean, like Italy and places like that, and Greece. You get me? And they just travelled round.
So they're more of the mix. They're definitely more mixed then, as opposed to
there's so much, bruv. There's so much mixing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so there's more mixing between them than there's that. Obviously, the albinoid or the lighter skin, or the neo Asian going into German.
With the albinoid thing, I don't see how you can create a race from that. It's just basically a malfunction where a person's like melanin isn't coming through, but predominantly it's still a black person still.
Well, it's selective breeding, though. Selective breeding.
You can't like cross an albino with a black person and then come up with a 50% mix and then like water it down and maintain the albinism mistake.
Yeah,
you can't do that. That's not.
Yeah, but you can't make that call yet. But you have to do the practice. You have to do research and trial and error.
But look, but don't think I'm saying that there ain't no relation between the two things. There obviously is. Like if a black person, like you said, in one generation can do that, then obviously then that proves that over a longer period of time, that can naturally happen gradually as well.
That's what I was thinking. So there'd be more.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that doesn't equate to white people descend from an albino line. That them two things, like correlation doesn't prove a causation. Two things correlate. It don't mean that they originally come from the same root. Like one thing didn't cause the other, isn't it?
Taught, though?
No, that's that's a mistake what people make when they see two things correlate with each other. Or what you mean about the albinos?
Dravidian albinos being original Aryans and all that stuff.
The Dravidians and all them, they were Anatolians. They come from Anatolia. So they would have come out of Africa, gone into Israel, gone round the corner into Anatolia. And then from Anatolia, they would have crossed right across Persia or Iran to northern India. That's where and then they would have gone into India from the top side. So there's three types of Indians in it. Like the bottom ones that they got there by boat, in it. Like they're the darkest ones. The middle ones, they would have walked there. They got there first, and then the ones that come on the top, they're sort of like floated on the top where they were mixing with like Chinese and Mongols and all types of like different mixture. So the ones at the top, they're the most mixed. And they would have like gradually moved down into the Dravidians and married into them. So like they would have got darker, progressively darker. So as far as I know, like even like Raj and them lot in the Punjab region, a lot of their Y chromosome, I think they were Tajik Turks from like far north, and then they invaded and they came into India. Like they got a good history as well. Indians got amazing history. They got amazing mixture as well. They got so much mixture. Like,
why are the Japs so big though? I do want to know that. Anyway, but they've had quite a lot of invaders. They definitely have, but I don't think that they've had much foreign admix along with that. They're quite insular people.
Who are you talking about?
The Asians. They're very in.
Nah, they're the most mixed. They're the most mixed.
Nah,
of course they are. Think about it, Europe is literally a bottleneck. Yeah, like no one's passing through Europe, innit? Once you're in Europe, you're in it, and then you're gonna mingle and like you're gonna dissolve. Like you know the Ashkenazis and that, like they disappeared in Europe, innit?
But
you know what I'm saying.
Don't forget that the Anglo-Saxons were here in the Isles, and they didn't breed. They didn't mix with no one. for hundreds.
What do you mean? All of Norfolk is Anglo-Saxon.
That's the Vikings.
10%.
That's the Vikings.
No, it's
The
not.
Vikings mix. The Vikings mix way more throughout history, bro. I've read throughout the history.
Bro, the Angles are a different tribe from the Vikings, bro.
I know.
You're
That's
getting
why.
mixed
That's
up
why I'm
between
saying.
Germanics and
Listen. What I'm trying to say, the Anglo-Saxons were here alongside the Vikings. They were oppressing the Vikings. They
were warring them. Yeah, they were warring them. It's true.
Yeah, and they didn't mix as much. So they're known for not mixed the Anglo-Saxons. When I've been reading,
that's why they're only like less than 10% of the UK. They're basically Norfolk, innit? Norfolk, innit? It's their manor, innit? That's their ends. Is Norfolk. The Anglo-Saxons.
So the same thing. So that's why I'm saying, just because it's a bottleneck in India, that's my point. It doesn't mean
not India, Europe. Europe's a bottleneck.
But with Asians, with India, I don't think they've been a mix because of the mentality of the people. They're very inward.
No, do you know what it is, bro? Let me tell you the truth, yeah. It ain't that. It's the other way around. What it is, people get mixed, yeah, and then they deny it. They want to claim racial purity. That's what their mentality. That's why their mentality is fucked up. They're not going to tell you that, like, everyone wants to be indigenous, innit? No one's going to claim to be an invader or whatever, yeah, or their mixture. No one wants to claim any mixture. Like, everyone wants to be one thing, innit? Like, they want to be pure as possible. Right?
Who's mixed with them apart from the Turks and the Arabs?
Who's
mixed with the Asians?
Well,
apart from the Vikings just went and raided and pillaged and murdered and mass murder. Who is mixed with?
Nah, but the Vikings just done a lot of trading. They've done a lot of trading. Like, they didn't do as much murdering as what people make out.
Who's admixed with the Asians apart from the Arabs and the Turks then?
Yeah, there was like 10 different tribes of Turks, 10 different tribes of Greeks, Arabs, like Persians, like you name it. Like even like Greeks, the thingy, what are they called? The Somalis, the Kush went as far as India. Get me? And there's already three tribes. There's already three different tribes already there, isn't it? They got the black ones at the bottom, the brown ones in the middle, and then the white ones at the top. They're like fucking, what's it called? You know the ice cream where you get the 3 flavors in one? That's how they come, bro. But they mix it, innit? They mixed up. So they mixed amongst themselves anyway. Like, I think India's got the most mixture.
See, now that's the thing. I feel like
probably China's got the least. Probably China's got the least. Them remote places like Philippines, like even
I wouldn't say
even
that.
Japan's
Japan's
a mixture of
Mongolians, and then they got dominated by the Koreans, and they got dominated by the Japanese.
But they're all the same race, bro. It's just different tribes that's mixing. Like who's dominating who? They're all the same.
Well,
there ain't no difference between a Mongol.
10 original founding dynasties, only one claim to go back to the original emperor of China. In Japan, they come from Korea, and Korea doesn't really claim to. They do claim to. See, that's the thing. It is a lot of denial. You're right. You're right. But there is the presence of a lot of other.
Yeah, the Koreans. People. The Koreans are the odd one out. That's what. You're right about that. The Koreans are the odd one out.
But you can see they've got, because of their faces, they've got a little bit of African in them, man. I can tell. But anyway, that's another story. But there's. I'd find with the Asians, even when Alexandra went there, I feel like Persia were more sociable than the Asians. Maybe that was the way that Hollywood depicted them, but they kind of gave off that they were kind of almost really very racist. You know what I mean? Like inwards, and they weren't really mixing. They didn't welcome Alexandra as no hero or nothing like that. But maybe that was because Persia at the time, there was so much conflict, inwards politics and conflicts going on there. So that's why he was probably welcomed by a lot of Persia and probably disdained by half of them that he killed anyway. But it's quite an interesting. I could stay on geopolitics. I don't know how you studied all of this stuff though, Carmen. Obviously,
I won't say I studied it, bro. I just like accumulated knowledge on like just in general knowledge terms. I wouldn't say I studied any of it. It was James S.C. that come on and showed us about the thing, about the British, what's it called? The ethnic breakdown. That was actually quite good when he done that. Like he basically bought one paper from PubMed and just read through it like and explained it as we went along. And it was I think me, Jedi, Maku, like was there as well. Like it was really interesting. It was really interesting. Like you know, I learned a lot. Put it that way, I learned a lot.
It's funny you should say that. It's funny that you should say that a lot of English and a lot of British people are from Mediterranean. When I see Mediterranean people, man, they usually got a little bit of, you know what I mean? The women are quite fit, curvy, you know, dark skin, you know what I mean? You could see that they've got, you know, nice flowing black hair most of the time. You know what I mean? They're quite thick, round bottom. The British woman ain't got no bottom. She got pancake bottom, man. I don't know how that link is kind of there fully. No offense, you know, some really nice, full and nice, you know, English sisters out there, but man, I can't really see the link. You know, I've seen some Greek women out there, and they've got some tip trayers. Same with the Italians, tip trayers. When it comes to the
like
English,
Kim Kardashian type
yeah,
girls.
they've all got big bottom. But when you see when you see some of these English women, my God, they got bellies that just kapow and everywhere, and the legs are just like two sticks. And I'm thinking, fucking hell. To me, it looked more German, sort of kind of German themes, but I don't know. That yeah, I think it's just it's confusing, man. But what I noticed is a lot of French blood in the British, and actually when you see British women mixed with French, they're beautiful, mate. They're nice, bruv, stunning. You see French girls mixed with English girls, they're nice, mate. They're the Norman stock of women. Maybe not today because there's probably more mixed, but yeah, they were pretty nice, very nice. But they look like typical English people, though. That's why, you know, I feel like France are completely in with it with England when it comes to geopolitics. Because I don't think
they hate each other the most, bro. Like they've had the most wars. They had like 100. Was it the 100-year war or something? They had the war for 100 years.
But look at this little. What's his name?
They proper hate each other.
Don't forget
about the what's it called? Why is it Friday the 13th? Unlucky for England. Do you know?
Why is that?
To do because what it is, yeah, the Queen and the British monarchy funded the Knights Templar to go through the Middle East and rob basically and basically rape and pillage in the Holy Land, and they sent all the money back to the Queen, right? So when they start raised up enough money, they started getting into money lending. So they started lending money to the King of France, right? So he borrowed so much money off them, yeah. He thought, you know what? Why am I even going to pay them back? I might as well just like execute all of them. So he just invited them all to the palace, going, yeah, come to the palace in France. I'm going to pay you all the money that I owe you. So the leader of the Knights Templar, like the top guy, went to meet the King of France. And then I think it was Friday the 13th. He just put them all to death, innit? He just killed all of them. And he said, I ain't paying you shit. Yeah, yeah. So England and France have had beefs for forever. They proper hate each other. Don't forget, like before England and America went into what's it called? Into Iraq, it was France and I think China that was like coaxing Saddam to sell them oil under the table. He was secretly selling oil to China and France. They were getting it cheaper than they were supposed to be. They weren't supposed to be getting none really, innit? It was supposed to go to England and America, but France done a little dodgy deal with Saddam, and when England found out, that's when they turned on him. And France, I think it was France and China.
Gangster energy coming from these French people, man. I just don't see.
Yeah, that's what's deceptive, though.
I just think
you're thinking they're all eating frog legs and shit, but these lot are fucking on another level, bro. I'm telling you, like, yeah, it's all about French culture. Wow, France is fucking robbing Africa on a yearly basis.
Seem like they just got this sacrifice ideology. But they don't care, bro. They're just like
the French.
They're just like,
yeah, they're ruthless, bro. They're ruthless.
Right. See, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. And I always try to look like when I look at when I was in the Western, I started to learn about history, and I was trying to see the deeper part of the French mentality, and they just like normal people. very eccentric. They're quite a little bit more dramatic than English. They're a bit out more. You can hear more a French man more than you hear an English man speak. Yeah, right. Unless he's he's just come out of a pub and he's having a good time with the lads, or he's come out of a football ground or something. But the French are very energetic. Right?
Yeah, they're active.
Yeah, like very dramatic and in your face.
Yeah,
but not in your face, not like Americans, but they're still loud. That they're expressive. But yeah, I just can't see them as this warrior nation. But clearly, history.
Look it up. Who's won the most wars? I guarantee you, it's French. They won more wars than any other country.
That's crazy.
Like in terms of, but 1 minute. Here's a disclaimer. In terms of battles, they won a number of battles. Yeah. But did the whole war go in their favor? I think maybe England had it more going in their favor. They benefited from it more. So strategic wars, England probably won the right wars, isn't it? Whereas, but with the French, when it comes to the number of wars they won the most.
And
I don't think they come out on top compared to England.
You're talking the 1400 onwards, because obviously at that stage, France, I don't even really think were too much of a strong power after the Spanish came to power, innit?
Bro, French are motherfuckers, bro. You know, in the slavery days, yeah, French used to kill their slaves and turn around and buy more slaves from the English. They used to basically capture their own slaves, but then people had no chance of survival. They used to work them to death, and then because they run out of slaves, they used to have to buy slaves from the ones that the English captured. That's how ruthless the French were. And that's not even going into what they've done to the Arabs and the Algerians and that, when they used to bury them up to their necks and ride horses over their heads and shit. Bro, you know how many Algerians got ethnically cleansed, bro? It's no one talks about it, but it's a massacre. They got fucked up by the French. The French did not have any sympathy at all. They're just harsh people.
Yeah, they've been like that.
Trust me. And everyone thinks that they're sophisticated, John Paul Gaultier type guys. Nah, bro.
Yeah.
Do some research on them and you'll find out what they're about. When the Vikings
went to France, they were known as barbarians. They were proper and when you look at the French and you see, the actual Vikings, the show, these guys were posh, bro. They were super posh, saying, "Oh, the English are savages and barbarians and whatnot." But that's time the English.
Yeah, but that's the attitude that makes them want to kill everyone, because they think that they got this high level culture, that they're so special, and everyone else are just fucking dumbos, that they don't mind killing you. Because they're like, yeah, it's all about, our high level of culture and making sure it survives. But you don't matter. They'll kill you. They'll be like, so what? You're just a lower level human. And they'll
I reckon
kill you
they got hardened. I think this is why. I think
they think they're special. That's what it is. They think they're special.
They got hardened by Rome, innit? Yeah. Do you reckon it's because they think they're special, or they just got hardened by Rome? Because
they think they're special, bro. They got this level of entitlement, they're entitled to life, and we ain't.
Julius Caesar had a 30-year campaign against the Gauls, man, and the shit he got up to up there, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, but they held them off, innit?
No, I think they did for a bit, and then he killed their leader. That Getorix. Bertram Getorix got murdered, didn't he? And then they moved on to the Germans, and then that's when they fell. And that's the thing. I think the Germans, obviously at that stage, man, how did Spain?
I don't think the Germans had the country to take over. Germans were just running around the forests, bruv. They didn't even have a country. I think the Romans were just chasing them around the forests, innit? Murdering them, slaving them, and that. The French did that. They had some territories, innit? They had some settlements, but I don't think the Germans did. I think the Germans were the last people to have a country in Europe.
So isn't that funny now? The world has fallen into the hands of the nations instead of the tribes. So the tribes and the tribes, right, and
go on.
The tribes have lost to the nations. The nations are ruling the tribes, and the nations.
I think a nation is what 2-3 tribes join together and they just make it a nation. Then, isn't it? That's that's basically what I think it is.
Just travelers, bro. Mixtures of people going into land regions and sort of claiming it, and then and then all these countries are just just like at the whim of these mixed race people. So when you look at the dynamics of the world, you know, would you want the world in the hands of the tribal leaders and nations and the pure nations, or would you want it in the hands of the sort of the mixed groups, the
Everyone's, bro,
neo-colonies?
there ain't no one that ain't mixed unless you're
No,
going
but
to
there's more
Africa.
people
Like, if
who
you're going to the heart of Africa, you're gonna find people in it that ain't mixed. But apart from that, everyone's mixed, bro.
But don't forget, now we look at Russia. Okay, Russian people are mixed. German people, Germany
Everyone's,
people
but
from
there ain't no
Germany.
one that's not mixed, bro.
Okay, so but
Maybe if you
listen,
was to go and find
listen,
like an Eskimo or something like somewhere
listen,
like
but not,
remote,
but
something like
listen,
that.
but listen. But Britain is one of the last, and places like Spain are one of the last or most recent mixtures of European people. Would you agree?
Say
So
that
when you
again.
look at Russia, and Holland and Germany and all these regions in Germania, and, you know, and Scandinavia, and that was it, Western Europe, they're the original Europeans. Places
No,
like
they ain't.
America,
No, they're
England,
not.
they're all the migrators, bro.
No, no, no,
So
no,
to
no, no, no.
so to me, Africa for the European is Germania, and Germania, we know where that's located in the cold regions of the world. So that's like their Africa. And Britain is a neo colony, is a secondary colony. It's not the primary location for you know these are all mixed. They're all mixed people. So the makeup, general makeup of a British person, I said this before, is 40% French, a little percent Viking, little and Anglo-Saxon, but and maybe
Yeah.
a bit of Italian. But
And then they got the
apart,
Celts, they got the Gauls, they got the Picts, they got like Spanish people that come over into like
oh, and
Cornwall
Spanish, yeah,
places. Like the diversity's there, genetic diversity's
but
there
in Germany,
within the
but one
British
second, in
Isles.
Germany, what's in Germany though? In Germany, they've got less of a mix.
Even the Germans had tribes. It's like the Austrians are actually German as well. So you got the Austrian Germans, then you got the German Germans. Like you got like different regions of Germany now. If you look at it now,
You
you can
do,
see they're like distinctly different people. So they
you
have
do,
got a
yeah,
level of genetic diversity.
they do,
It
they
might
do,
not
they
be
do.
from mixing, but there is some diversity there. Get me?
There
Certain
is,
parts
there
they
is.
got dark hair, certain parts they got blonde hair. Do you get me? Certain parts they're mixed with like Finnish type, what's it called,
They got
people,
gypsies there as
Estonians
well.
and that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
gypsies
they got
probably.
loads of Turks there as well. They got like a couple of million Turks.
The white gypsies,
Now,
aren't they?
there's a lot of Africans there. I don't know where the Africans are from. I think they're from certain countries. Like, you probably wouldn't get no Jamaicans in there. You probably get like I don't know, maybe Senegalese or something like that. So I met a couple of guys from Germany, a couple of like Rastas. I think they were Senegalese. So they were telling me that it's a bit different in Germany. Like, they don't have like the same, obviously, because British colonies, isn't it? Like we got the British Commonwealth countries, isn't it? Like Cypriots, Jamaicans, Irish. Like you get me? We got our little, you know what I mean?
But
The whole
and the thing,
territory.
and don't forget, they've got more of that equator
I
blood.
think they've got like
Britain's got more.
Angolans and they've got different types of Africans there, innit? In
No,
Germany.
Britain's got more equator blood than Germany, like Mediterranean blood, than way more than Germany. Can you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
why I say Britain's just is less British than Germany is German. That makes sense. But anyway,
yeah,
that's why
I don't know. Like, I don't attribute too much to blood. You know what I'm saying? Like people's characteristics, I think is more to do with their environment. Do you know what I'm
you
saying?
talking
It's
about
like
Knight Templar
people
earlier
who live on islands, for example, are usually quite friendly people, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because they've got that protection of the sea, in it. Like no one's just gonna roll up on them out of the blue. Like they can see you coming from a mile
you're
away.
right.
So island
They're
people
less
are usually
disturbed.
like happier people, innit?
Yeah, they're less
Do you know what I'm
disturbed.
saying?
They've had less
Yeah,
disturbance.
like can see you coming like before you even like you were saying earlier about England. Like England's an island. Like, do you know how hard it is to invade England? You got to get across the sea, man, to get to them. Do you know what I'm saying? They've had that luxury. Yeah, a lot of things is geographical. People don't realize geography is like the shape of the land. Like it's even a big influence on things. People don't realize that.
Oh, the Knights Templar you were talking about earlier on. You know, at the time, Knights Templar went and stole all of the stuff that they stole. Where did they go? To Jerusalem. They went through a couple of places, didn't they? Anyway, they went to the Holy Lands anyway, and they got whatever they got: information, money, goods, you know, resources. But when they did, right, when England did that, right, and they went on that, it's just like a dual conquest, isn't it? It was like France and England together. And Russia were very pissed off. They were sending envoys out saying, "Look, leave this region alone." And it wasn't because they liked the region; it's because they didn't want Britain to have that type of power, right? And this is from the days that the US, you know, that whole region was ruling. So they were actually up in arms. They were trying. They didn't want that to happen. And Germany and the German rulers, they didn't want that to happen. There's a very big power struggle. For that. That's why the Knight Templars, they had loads of enemies, bruv. That's why they've kind of gone really occult like, because they don't want to share. They knew that they were going to be at war with Russia. Russia basically declared war on them if they was to the Knights Templar were to go and get all. I think it was information, really. It was the information in it that they didn't want them to get, because they were like, "Wait, they're gonna be able to build weapons with all of this shit. They're not gonna buy it off us no more. They're gonna start building them." So that's what it was. That's why all these movies are based around the Holy Land, because that was when they came out of their dark ages, and they didn't. And the Moors, they didn't have to learn anything from the Moors. They just got their own information and ransacked the Middle East. Yeah, I like history, man. I put all that shit together, and I realized actually they didn't get that shit because it was holy. They just wanted power struggle. They just wanted power. They wanted power, bro, from all that comes from the Middle East. As soon as the Knights Templar got what they needed, that was it. It was a war. They declared war on them. That was why this whole 1945 kicked off, because of that one day, bro. That's why people don't really know about this Knights Templar thing. You need to study that whole part of history more closely.
That whole
chapter,
you need to see that.
Yeah, you need to see that properly, family, because that is where they got real information from. That wherever they went to Middle East there.
Yeah, that's where they learned about secret organizations. Like in the Middle East, they already had things like that. Like the Shias and things like that. There were certain groups of Shias, like the Fatimids and that. When the Seljuk Turks and that took over, they went underground and they started having secret organizations, and like they reckon that even the mafia took their model from them. And who else was it? The Illuminati and things like that. Like basically having a secret organization on a higher level, like that can penetrate and infiltrate a government. Do you know what I
mean? Because at that time they had chain mail. They had a big red cross on their chest, and they were riding out on a horse, sweating, not being able to even fucking look outside their helmet. And now all of a sudden they got tanks, guns. A couple of 100 years later, yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. And that's quite interesting, man.
Most advancements have come from war, sadly. Like technological advancements, all these things, it's all been war, innit? Everything's about war, innit? Weaponry, technology, information, the internet, going to space, all these things, it's all about war, bro. Submarines, anything you could think of in technology terms, it's all based on war, innit? Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that just because you've got the weapons, don't mean you're going to use them, but you just develop the weapon to kind of like threaten everyone and have a deterrent and say, look, we got this. Get me? Like we got nuclear. England's got nuclear submarines, for example. Them nuclear submarines can basically go from England, let's say, around the coast of France and that into the Mediterranean, all the way across to fucking Turkey through the Bosphorus Strait. They could target fucking Russia. They could go from here to Russia just under the water, innit? Just a submarine. Ain't even a battleship. It's just like stealthy with a couple of nukes strapped to it. Fucking hell, bro. England ain't fucking about, you know, with them tridents. It's serious. Like, apart from Turkey, like England's like a serious fucking force to be reckoned with. Like, obviously, America's in a league of their own. Like, no one's fucking with America, right? When it comes to missiles and weapons and shit, yeah. But England's still like, England's serious, bro. England's like, you get me? They use their military to put pressure on countries. Like look, Falkland Islands. Argentina's buying weapons now, innit? They're going to try and fight England over Falklands yet again. So this Falkland War could kick off again. Get me? Because like China, yeah, is going to like basically sell the weapons to Argentina just to piss England off, just so Argentina can war them, innit, on behalf of China.
I would say the Falklands is in
It's just fucked up. Yeah, it's off the coast of Argentina. It's really their land, isn't it? But England's claiming it. Same as Gibraltar. How's Gibraltar part of England? But England's like, nah, that's ours. No one's telling us any different. But they're motherfuckers, but I'm telling you. They don't give a shit.
You know, when I realised they were
They've done
really
the same thing with Hong Kong. They've done the same thing with India.
They did the same.
They were like, nah, that's ours. They clapped it. Yeah, Cyprus, same way. Yeah, they just clapped it.
But you know what they did to Cyprus? You know what they did to Cyprus? They made them enter the war with them in World War II, and they promised that they'd give them Cyprus back, and they didn't give it back.
And then they jacked them. They've done a jack move.
Well, they didn't give it back to them.
Yeah, they jacked it, bro.
Man. So even the Greeks,
they all got jacked. Everyone got jacked.
But they fought for them, no, bro. They fought for them.
I know.
You
it's
understand
fucked up. It's fucked up. But this is what I'm saying. England's on another level, bro. Like they're not as ruthless as they're not as ruthless as the French, and they're not as evil as the Germanics. But you know what I mean? Like England do their own moves, bro. They got like politics. They're clever, innit? They use their acumen. You gotta rate Britain, bro. You gotta rate them.
You
still.
Say they're not as evil as the French, but they're not as what? As racist.
No, I'm saying that, like, you know, the Germans, like I count the Americans as Germans as well, right? They got this kind of like dopey, clumsy way of like kind of running the world, innit? Like they just go in like all guns blazing, like, you know, like the Wild West style. Yeah, like that's how they are. But the British, they got a bit of style, innit? Like they go in, they do a bit of talking, cut you a deal. You get me? Like if you don't go with the deal, the man's I'm gonna bring my battleship and put it off the coast of Argentina and then come chat to me, innit? Like, but they at least give you a chance to kind of like England's got a bit of finesse about them. That's what I like.
I'm not gonna lie. The French to me is like you don't want to fall victim to the French, right? Or you don't want to be in. You don't want to be taken alive by the French, basically, yeah, right? Yeah. This whole Spanish conquest.
But what I'm saying, English, yeah, they're the best of the bad bunch. Like they're motherfuckers still.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Jedi for TRILLUMINATI Live. I'm here to tell you to hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. We've got links in the description for PayPal. You can hit us up on the super chat if you want to support. I also got cash